Did you know that in Magic, cards respond differently to sound? Like if I whistle, I can make the top card magically flip over. Or if I scream out loud, the deck gets afraid and just vanishes from my hand. Okay, well, maybe that's slightly exaggerated, but check out this card trick to drive your neighbors crazy. Alright, yo, so check this out. For those of you who are curious, today I'm going to be using these Superman playing cards by Theory 11. And to start, I'm going to hand the deck over to the spectator, and they can shuffle it up as much as they would like. As soon as they're done shuffling, or if they don't know how to shuffle, they can give the deck a couple of cuts as well. We're going to dribble through the cards, have a spectator call out stop, let's say here, and we have one card selected. Take a look at that card, memorize it, and now we need a second card selected as I dribble through. Someone called out stop, let's say right there. And we have a second card selected, right? So first card, take a look at that card, memorize it. Second card, take a look at that card and memorize it. The reason I'm showing you twice because sometimes I forget as well. Now, as I shuffle, we have a spectator call out stop, let's say here. Gonna take one of the cards, right? Put it right at that location, and then shuffle that right in. And we're gonna do the exact same thing with the other cards. I shuffle through, we stop, let's say right around here, take the second card or first card, put it right at that location, and shuffle that all the way in. Now, what's interesting about this trick is that it doesn't rely on sleight of hand, it actually relies on something else, sound. Because each card reacts differently to what sound it hears. It's pretty cool how it works. So obviously your card has to be somewhere between the top card, the 3 of clubs, and the 6 of spades, which is the bottom card. Now, what was the first card that you selected? The 5 of spades. All right, check it out. 5 of spades reacts specifically to the sound. If we take a look, all the cards are face down except one card, and that one card is the 5 of spades, right? I mean, that's pretty impressive in itself, if I do say so myself. Now, the second card could be a bit more tricky. What was the name of the second card that you selected? The 10. 10 of what? 10 of hearts. Okay. What's the sound for 10 of hearts? I think it's... All right, if that worked, if I spread out all the cards, we'll see one card face up, and that's the 10 of hearts. Gotta love the sound of music. Boom. What up, crew? It is Magic Monday, and this is your place to learn Magic, master your performance, and captivate audiences. To give you some background on this effect, it was originally created by Theodore Anneman in the 1930s, and then modified a little by Roberto Giobbi in his book, Card College Volume 2. It's a fun trick to perform, but it will require some practice. Now, before we dive right into the tutorial, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and get ready to share with all your friends. Now grab your favorite deck, and let's do it. And welcome to the tutorial. Some more info. When this trick was originally conceptualized, it did not have the whole whistle aspect to it. That's something that Roberto Giobbi added to make it more fun, funny, entertaining. So, and even though this is supposed to be a funnier type card trick, it does require a decent amount of practice, so I would probably rate this at an intermediate level. And the reasoning for that is you have to know 2 moves very well. One is the double lift, and the second is the overhand shuffle, but not just the overhand shuffle, a much more controlled version of the overhand shuffle. And as we get started, you'll know exactly what I mean. So get ready for some practice. So to start, we're gonna take the cards out of the tuck case and have them shuffled up by a spectator. The reason why I like to have spectators shuffle up the cards is because it lets them feel like they have some level of control. It almost puts them at ease at certain times just because they feel like, all right, now I've messed up the cards. They can't do anything super suspicious when that's all we ever actually do. So that's why I have them shuffle. But as soon as the shuffling is done, of course, we need 2 cards selected. Ideally, you want 2 spectators. 2 spectators select 1 card each versus 1 spectator who has 2 cards, because if the 1 spectator forgets their card, it's just like, now what, right? So 2 cards selected by 2 spectators. So card number 1, let's say this card here, it is the King of Spades. We got Mr. Lex Luthor, put him right there. And card number 2 selected, let's say this card here, we have the King of Clubs, Mr. Darkside. All right, we're gonna put them right next to each other. So card number 1 and card number 2. For this whole trick, for more demonstration purposes, I'm gonna leave both the cards face up, so it's a bit easier to follow what I'm gonna do next. Ideally, what you want is the first card to go on top of the deck, and the second card selected to go third from the top of the deck. So this is the order that we actually want the cards to be in, top down, once all the shuffling and the losing in the deck has been completed. The way that I like to do it, leave these cards here. The way that I like to do it, if you have your own method, feel free to share with me in the comments, or share with anyone, or do it yourself. But the way I like to do it is to use an overhand shuffle. Now, this, of course, will most likely be the most difficult part of this trick. If you can do this, you're golden. To begin, throw over a packet of cards. You're doing an overhand shuffle. Toss those cards over. Toss, toss, toss. and then at some point have a spectator call out stop, take the second selected card, and that's the King of Clubs dark side in our hand. And of course, I'm going to leave him face up just for demonstration purposes. You're not going to leave him face up for the actual trick. And we're going to leave him here. You're going to peel off one more card on top of that card. So peel off one more card. Then you in-jog this card. So take your thumb, pull this card back. And then you continue doing the overhand shuffle with the rest of the cards. So as soon as that's done, you have that one card here in the back that's out-jogged. To make it a bit more clear, I'll pull it out a bit more. But of course, you ideally want this fairly close to the deck. And from the front view, of course, no one can actually see that. So you have this card here. This actually seems like insane to be out this much. But so you have this card here, and now you want to loose the second card into the deck. So the way you do this, push down and forward using my right hand, push down and forward, doing the overhand shuffle. I'm pretty much going to get rid of this whole top packet. So I overhand shuffle until I get to the break, which is that giant gap right there. Overhand shuffle till I get to the break. And then I toss over a small packet of cards. What that really does is it brings our packet, or I guess our top two cards, King of Clubs and a normal whatever card this is, to the top of the deck. Then you take spectator number one's card, put it there, in-jog this card as well, and overhand shuffle the rest of the cards onto it. And of course, since this is in-jogged, you can kind of see exactly where it is from the back here. Now, I like to pause at this point and tell the spectator that we're not going to be doing anything crazy, no crazy slides, but we're going to be doing something different. And as I'm saying all this, and we're going to be using sound, as I'm doing all this, I push down and forward again, get a break at that position, and give the cards a cut right there, getting us to our position of spectator number one's card on top, and spectator number two cards third from the top. All right, now I'll turn these back face down so we can continue with the rest of the trick. Of course, this whole time you're telling that story of, I'm not doing any kind of sleight of hand, everything is just going to be based off sound, and that's how we're going to find or locate your cards. So as you're sharing that story, you want to get a pinky break underneath the top two cards. There are multiple ways that you can do this. You can either push off cards like this, push off two cards, pull back, get a pinky break like that. If you want to count with your thumb, you can do that. Or ideally what I like to do is as I'm talking, I just count two cards with my pinky finger and get a break that way. I would recommend using this method. It took me a long time to learn the pinky count. I have the perfect tutorial for it. I'll put the link on the screen. You'll get it down in no time. So you have those two cards, you have a break under those two cards, and now you're gonna do a double lift. So you say, let me show you something. Or you say something along those lines, you know. Your card is somewhere between this top card, two of hearts. Of course, this is the arbitrary card that's between those two selected cards. You have the two of hearts, then you turn this packet face down, and as you turn this face down, you're gonna peel off this bottom card. So your card has to be between the two of hearts, and you peel this off, and then I use this to point to this card or the three of clubs. It has to be between those two cards because it's somewhere in the deck. And then once that's done, I'm going to take this card now and put it face up, I guess, like this, facing the same direction as the rest of the cards on the bottom, right? So again, it was facing this way. We've pulled it like this, turned it around, and returned it back. Of course, don't actually just do this. Then you look like an idiot. No, don't do that, right? Again, the whole purpose is your cards between the two of hearts, turn it over, pull this out, and the three of clubs. Then you take this, put it back on the bottom. And the reasoning for that is because now, since you did the double lift, right? You did the double lift, you had this card, you took it out, and then you turned it back face down, while this card is still face up. So you actually just reversed the top card, which is, I think is really cool how you were just able to do that. So you reverse the top card, and now it's just there. From here, you can give the deck maybe a cut so that the card gets lost. Well, not lost, but the card gets closer to the center, the first spectator selected card. You ask spectator number one, what is your selected card? They say King of Spades. You say each card has a different kind of calling. You can again, feel free to experiment with this as much as you like. You can have this to be a lot of fun. You can have this being very entertaining. You can make like the sound of, I don't know, like a monkey. Hoo-ha, right? As soon as you say hoo-ha, Lex Luthor shows up, the King of Spades. Right, you go through, you have the King of Spades there. Now you don't take this card out. That's gonna be very important. Don't take that card out. If you're spreading through like this, of course, King of Spades, take everything up to that card, move all these to the top like this, right? So you want the packet below the King of Spades or below the first spectator's card to be undisturbed. Now you have that card here. Again, you're gonna do a pinky count, or you're gonna get a break underneath the top two cards because the card right after this card is the second spectator selected card, the King of Clubs, or in our case, Dark Side. Right? We have this here. You pick up both the cards as one as you tell the spectator we have the King of Spades that showed up. What was the name of the second card? They're gonna say it was the what was it? It was the King of Clubs. You flip the deck over, put the card or put the cards, right? Spectator just thinks it's one card. Put it right there, and then maybe give the deck a couple of cuts, or maybe one cut if you'd like. And you've pretty much set everything up to go. You can make whatever noise you want. Let's say Dark Side or King of Clubs reacts to what would he, right? He. Spread the cards out. Of course, one card is face up. At this point, the trick is over, so you can take it out. And the second card, the King of Clubs. Go kill it. Now, if you want to try a very fun card trick that I promise you will be very entertaining, but will require some actual practice, click on this video right over here. Just do it. A huge shout out to all my Patreon producers, and thank you, love you, see you soon.